Hey Seeker, welcome to the Awakening Her podcast. I am so grateful that you've been led here, and I'm excited for you that you're answering the call to manifest more magic in your life by mastering the law of attraction. So cool. My name is Talia, and I'm committed to cutting the fluff and showing you exactly how to manifest more excitement, ease, success, abundance, confidence, love, and anything else you've been craving. So if you're ready to crack the code on manifestation, amplify your intuition, and play in the quantum, we are now besties. Let's do this. Hello, my love. Welcome back to the Awakening Her podcast. I am so excited to be here with you today. My name is Talia Joy, and if you are new, you have energetically stumbled into the right place. This is the show where we talk about all things manifestation. We talk about the practical and the how-tos. We talk about the energetic and the spiritual and the healing and the soul and the growth and all of the aspects. And my intention is to help you to create a life that lights you up on a soul level, on a human level. It's that life that includes abundance and freedom and health and vitality. It's so yummy. So this is what we do on this show. Welcome, my love. I'm so glad you're here. So today what we are diving into is the energy of devotion and commitment and consistency and moving toward your goals. So in the last episode, we talked about what it really takes to manifest. And I was talking a bit about this, how in addition to the feminine energy of, the dreaming and the desiring and the feelings and the imagination and the intuition and the creativity and the flow. In addition to that, we also need this masculine energy. We also need to move forward. We need steps. We need actions. We need commitment. We need safety, security, structure, right? So I know that, one of those aspects, either the feminine of the flow and the ease, or the masculine with the steps, one of those probably makes you feel a little bit crunchy and a little bit anxious. And it is maybe what has been missing so far in the manifestation journey, or what has maybe just not let you get to that next level. Because I know that you've done a lot of work on yourself. I know that you've been in this self-development space, probably manifestation space for a while. You've gathered a lot of tools and you're ready to truly move forward. That is who I serve. So I know that if you're here, you are really ready. You're really ready to move through. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And in my life, just to share quickly, I tend to dwell more in the feminine. One beautiful thing is I tend to attract a lot of clients that actually go, that tend to hang out more in the masculine, in the but how, and the sort of control and the wanting to take all the actions, and maybe perfectionism, maybe a little bit type A. And that's why we tend to be a really good match, because when you're lost in the masculine, when you're lost in but how and trying to do things right, and in that control, you often need a little bit more of the feminine energy when it comes to manifestation. And I'm going to go more in depth with all of this. But if you're like me and tend to be more in the feminine, so we're trying to connect to the emotions and we have these visualizations, or we have a lot of deep desires that we feel we're meant for. Maybe you're intuitive or you're sensitive or something like that. Often from that place, the structure and the steps and the commitment, the taking of the action can be a really hard one. And maybe you're a beautiful mix of both. It still takes bringing all of this into right relationship or into balance or into harmony, however you want to say it, to actually manifest what you want. So today's episode, I have my notes and I have the things I want to go through, the actionable steps, but I also feel a little bit of a source tangent wanting to come forward, because it's really important. I know you're meant for such big stuff, and I know that you hear that, but 2024 coming up, I know that this is the time for you. My community, because it's the time for me, we are all in this together. We are all rising together, no matter what quote unquote level you're at, or how long you've been doing this, or what your income is, whatever. We are all ready to transform. We're ready. Okay. We're ready to transform. We are ready to transcend where we currently are and to go to the fucking moon. So are you coming with me? P.S. Of course you are. You're here, you're ready. And this is really what we have to move into in our next chapter, is this harmony between the feels and the energy and getting our energy right, being in that manifestation vortex, that magnetism, mixed with the actions to back it up, the structure to back it up, because momentum happens when we keep moving forward. Momentum happens from action. Also, have you ever heard me say, or anyone say, that confidence comes from action? Confidence comes from showing up. It's not that I'll be confident and then I'll show up. Confidence comes through devotion, through commitment to yourself, learning that you can trust yourself, learning that you can carry yourself there. This is manifestation. And when we do this, that's when the universe comes in to back us up. That's when our path is sprinkled with magic, or the right people at the right time, or when you get ready to, overcome some sort of limiting belief or a wound and you say, like, please, spirit, God, angels, whoever, help me with this. And then the right book comes into your life, or the right mentor. You say yes to something that, a retreat or whatever that truly changes you. Our life will be sprinkled with magic. You get to live a 111 experience, but without you doing your part, you're just not going to feel the full extent of that flow and of that magic. So I don't want to, in these couple episodes, I don't want to rob you of the feeling of how magical this experience is, but I also don't want you to be sitting around forever waiting for manifestations or waiting for your next level. Because as I say, momentum doesn't happen from the couch, which is funny because so often I'm like on the couch in my sweatpants feeling so magnetic because I've learned how to do that. So you can manifest from the physical couch, but what we're talking about here is it takes action, it takes commitment. So as we go through this episode, I'm going to share a little bit too about my story, because a lot of you can relate to that. And I know that there's bits and parts of my story that are really probably helpful or similar to yours. So I used to have an eating disorder, as a lot of you know, that stemmed from being bullied when I was very young for my body. And then there was a few different bullies, a few different circumstances, some really serious that caused me to leave high school and move away to a different city. The police were involved. It was a really big deal. All the way, that was when I was an early teenager. But starting from sort of innocent schoolyard bullying, but it deeply impacted me. So as I grew, my relationship with my body and the F word, being fat or feeling fat or whatever, it was deeply intertwined in my journey. I never felt good enough. It was all about seeking that validation. I hated myself. I hated my body. When I discovered losing weight and the attention you get, it was like, oh, finally I'm getting positive attention. And I kind of equated that, as we do, with love. And I thought, wow, if I lose weight, then I will get love. If I lose weight, I get kudos, I get acknowledgement. And I was seeking that so deeply. And so in my journey of wanting to love myself and healing through that. So now, eating disorder aside, I realized, even just maybe it was only last year, the year before, I realized that when I healed my eating disorder, I stopped obsessing over food, or I stopped weighing myself. I stopped shaming myself so deeply and stopped having panic attacks when I was getting dressed in the morning. There was a lot of things that I was like, okay, I'm eating disorder free. I'm no longer quote unquote disordered. But that was a completely different journey to actually loving myself, or different journey than actually learning how to love and show up for myself. So there may be things you've transcended, and you're probably already on this path of discovering what it means to truly love yourself. But sometimes, like, we can quit drinking, but that doesn't mean we love ourselves. Or we can even meditate every day, but where is it coming from? You can be fit as a fiddle, but is it coming from love, or is it coming from shame? So this isn't the point of this episode. Obviously, there's a lot that wants to come forward. But why I was saying this is that in my journey of healing, why I felt inadequate, why at the end of the day I was my own bully, I was my own drill sergeant, why I shamed myself, why I never felt good enough, why I felt awkward and weird and it bothered me. Now I'm awkward and weird and I'm like, this is who I am. Here's my flag. If you're interested, come on over. I'm okay with my weirdness now. But what really made the difference was learning how to show up for myself. Self-love didn't appear out of nowhere. It was a reprogramming. It was a moving out of the darkness. It was a healing. It was an intentional commitment to come toward myself with love, to speak to myself in love and honor, to show up for myself and learn what that meant. So again, why I'm saying all this is it's the same with the money that you want. It's the same with the business that you want. It doesn't only come because you prayed or because you wrote it out or because you want it. It comes because you work toward it. So what I want to do today in this episode is not only share with you that manifestation requires showing up for your dreams and rant about that, but I also want to talk about like what that really means and how important it is for you to show up for yourself consistently. And I want to say too that I know your inner voice has been like, you need a daily practice, right? You need to meditate more. Imagine if you journaled every morning. There's a reason why your inner voice is saying that. And it's not just because you should. It's because well-being comes when you learn how to consistently show up for yourself. Manifestation comes when you learn how to consistently show up for your goal. So I have clients that are really focused on creating freedom in their schedule, in their bank account, in their body, in their life, and it's more of a feely-based manifestation. I have clients that want to build a $100,000 year in their business. I have a client that is going to win the lottery. These goals are all very different, yet they all take devotion and commitment. So to my client, I know you're listening, that is going to win the lottery, she doesn't just say, I'm going to win the lottery and kind of like, do this with her hands, kind of wipe them away clean and walk away. And then every ticket she buys that doesn't have a winner, she's not like, oh, what? She is doing everything. And by everything, I mean everything. This woman's amazing. Everything in her power, energetically and physically, to set herself up to be an energetic capacity to millions of dollars. She is being it. She is embodying it. She, together she is cleaning up her money energy, the way she interacts with money. She's infusing things with intention. She's clearing her energy. She even told me the other day, she phoned like a lawyer or someone, maybe it's more accounting, to say, I'm going to win the lottery. How can you advise me on how best to manage this aspect of life? Like, she is so certain. It doesn't take just, I want to win the lottery and walk away. And I was saying just the other day how you can't necessarily control winning the lottery. Like if I'm going out to get 5 new clients, I could send out emails. I could create a program. Winning the lottery, it's less physical. Like you can buy tickets, but you can't really plan for it. So her 100% job, in addition to buying tickets when she feels high vibe, is to do the energetic work. That's what she can do. And she is so open and so determined, I have no doubt. So this is the thing, is whether you have a huge goal like winning the lottery, or you want to create $1 million, or have a best-selling book, or find love, or heal your body, or travel the world, or start a yoga studio, or get your yoga certification, or become an online coach, whatever it is that you want to do, it takes commitment and it takes devotion. So I want to flash forward to another client this week that asked me, and we had this moment where I was laughing because she's like, how do you actually do all that you're doing? And she's like, you've got workshops, you've got clearings, you've got On the Path, you've got 2 podcasts, and I hear what you're putting into them. And she's part of my mentorship, and she's part of my workshops and courses. And she's like, plus you're a mom of 3, and plus you have time for your own spiritual practice and your own body and your marriage. And she's like, oh yeah, and you're writing a book. Like, how do you even do that? And I actually had to take a minute, because half of her was probably saying like, physically, how the fuck do you do that? But then also like, she was just inspired. She's like, how do you do all that? How are you so driven? And through probably a 12-minute voice memo that I sent her back, a lot of the thread was like, because there's no other fucking option for myself. I have been in a place where I always sabotaged, where I always came back to negative thinking, where I always shamed myself, and it never got me anywhere. In fact, it made me riddled with pain, physical body pain, that is the manifestation of me neglecting myself. So I shared this with her, and I'll share this with you. It was very vulnerable that I got to a place, bank account wise, mental health wise, and physical pain wise, where I decided I cannot go on like this. Like, line drawn in the sand. When I deal with so much pain in my body so constantly, and I say this between me and you very intimately, I've said to my husband, he doesn't love to hear it, but I'm like, if I am to be my entire life in pain, I don't know how long I want to live. And when I say this with sensitivity. These are my vulnerable moments. I only want to help and serve, so I hope that doesn't trigger anyone. But I had this feeling of like, this isn't what life is meant to be. There is more. So whether it's your mental health, physical pain, bank account, whatever it is, when you all of a sudden feel like you have no other choice, that is actually a powerful place to be, because it creates devotion and commitment. I worked in, this is going to seem left field, but I worked in a naturopathic cancer center clinic where the naturopathic doctor specialized in cancer. I worked there for 11 years. I started doing nutrition consulting there. And I saw some people that when they were faced with cancer, completely changed their life. They're getting up early, they're doing yoga, they're taking all the supplements, they're juicing, they're seeing their naturopathic doctor, they're remembering to, do all the things because their literal life is on the line. Some people, it doesn't work that way. Other people, go the other way, and I don't blame or judge either path. But when you get to the place where you decide within you there is no other option, and you light a fire under your ass, you start taking action. So I want to ask you, if there was no other choice, if your success was inevitable, if you were 2 feet in, which I hope that you are, if you're 2 feet into your goals and that life that you want, what are you going to do about it? And I say this with vigor and with passion. And remember, I always say this, it doesn't have to be expensive or all or nothing. I mean, are you willing to get up and walk because moving your body feels better than not? Are you willing to really look and journal through some of those limiting beliefs? Are you willing to make a new choice when it comes to your body, to your mind, to your food, whatever it is? Even micro choices have macro impacts. But it comes down to not the size. It's not the size of your choice that determines your worth. No, it's not the size of your choice. It's what you do with it. Okay, wait, I'm getting too sexy over here. Seriously though, it's not the size of the move you make. It's the energy and the devotion and the commitment. If you keep going, you don't fail. You don't fail, right? So are you 2 feet in? Or are you 1 foot in? Are you floppy? Are you kind of in and out? And either way, it's okay. Take inventory of that. Sometimes I'm in and out for a long time. And sometimes in certain areas of life, I'm in and out. I'll be like, I say I want this, but am I actually moving toward it? Well, no, because I'm still working through the things that are blocking me. And that's fine too. However, new year coming, new vibes coming, ready to explode. Nothing is outside the realm of possibility. What do you want for yourself and your life? What do you want for yourself in your life, and what are you willing to do? So let's talk again about the masculine and the feminine. This is why I created, by the way, if you're listening to this and you're all fired up and you're like, yeah, this is why I created Ready to Manifest. It's the 31-day challenge starting January 1st. It is going to be like every challenge I've done, but 2.0. We are 2.0ing this shit. We are moving you forward. I'm committed to it. We are walking this path together. These exercises, the community aspect of it, the end call to wrap up and activate, it is going to move you forward. It is do it yourself with support. It is do it yourself on frickin' kombucha. It is going to be incredible. It'll give you the masculine and the feminine. Let's fucking do this together. Ready to manifest. The link is below. Let's do the 31 days together, the first 31 days of 2024. Let me bring you in. Let me give you an inside to what I'm doing. I'll be sharing with you in voice memo what I'm doing, how I'm doing the practices, what's going on behind the scenes in my life and my hacks, and then going along in this journey together. Anyway, so with the feminine and the masculine, we need to be in the energy of. This is where the feminine is so important, and not just visualizing and desiring. I want you to be in the energy of receiving it, being in the yumminess, being in the juiciness, being in the pleasure. Being in the energy of the abundance you're going to create, being in the energy of the health and well-being, being inspired. Often when I'm stuck, I'm just bored. Often when I don't know what to do, it's just because there's no new inspiration coming through, and I've kind of gotten, like artists. It's like, I don't really know. And then they go out and get inspired by a sunset or something else, and then they go out and create. It's exactly that. You are the artist of your life. If you're bored or stagnant, do everything you can to get unstagnant by getting inspired. Read a book, join the challenge, get yourself in mentorship, talk to a friend, do it with someone, make a vision board, get out there, do some things. But anyways, so the feminine though, because that just went back into the masculine, the feminine is the inspiration, is the creativity, being in the juiciness of your desires, because what you're going for is juicy. That freedom, that abundance, that bravery, that courage, that adventure and fun that you are going for. Yes, the money, of course. Yes, the health and vitality and everything that is going to bring you. It is so juicy. And is that not worth it? Is that not worth showing up for yourself, investing in yourself, investing the time it takes and the energy to move forward? So we need that beingness. We need that fuck yes, dripping from our soul, open heart, inspired, in trust, in faith, open to receive, paying attention to our intuition, being in the feels, being in the vibes of it. And then we need to support that with some steps, with some moves. We need to create that devotion. And I'm going to say something that some of you may not like, and that's cool. That's okay. Take from here what is for you. Creating this life, these manifestations, they don't just happen when you feel like it. They don't just happen like when I'm feeling good, I'll journal. When I'm feeling good, I'll put it out there. It is a commitment every day to become that person, to move toward abundance, to keep your head in the light. And yes, sometimes we are licking our wounds. Yes, sometimes we're just having a frickin' day. Yes, sometimes we're triggered. Totally fine, totally normal. And then we get back to it. It doesn't just happen. It's like, I think of it with business. I can't just show up when I feel like it and then just not show up for a bunch. Like, I show up all the time, and I make sure that when I'm here, when I'm recording, my energy is tippy top. I'm taking care of my body. I'm well rested. I'm hydrated. I'm showing up in full capacity to pass on this message. I don't just do it sometimes. And if it's a day where I'm supposed to record, or I've got an interview, or I'm with my clients, it means so much to me that my energy is high, that my channel is clear. I don't just kind of like, we'll see if I feel like it. I am committed to my success, to your success, to creating stuff that actually moves people forward, to changing the world. And that doesn't just happen when I feel like it. That being said, I take time off, just personally for details. I take time off. I don't overexert myself. Well, I'm working on it, but I have very clear boundaries with my working hours. I have very clear boundaries with when I am and when I'm not available. I take time off. I don't pick up work on the weekends. Like, I do things for myself to make sure that I can show up. So it's not about hustle. It's not about 24/7. It's about consistency and devotion to yourself. Are you devoted? That is such a different energy than I have to or I should. If you're saying I should meditate, or I am devoted to my mental health, and a big part of that is meditation. What do you think gets you to your meditation pillow, right? Becoming devoted. So I want you to think right now of a couple things you want to create in 2024. Make it a healthy mix of like freedom and expansion, and then also like 20K months, or to build my business, or like to open my business, whatever it is, like concrete goals, energetic goals. Make it a healthy mix of both. And ask yourself, if I was 100% devoted, no other option, no, like failure's not an option, I will just keep going because I am meant for this. If I was 2 feet in, devoted to myself, what would I do? Who would I be? How would I show up toward my goals? How would I make sure that I'm staying in the light? How do I make sure that I'm staying on the right track? How am I staying accountable? How am I moving myself forward? So I want to come back right now because I've heard in this conversation internally that, of course, some people are going to say, like, I thought the hows weren't our responsibility. Because if you've been in manifestation or even heard my episodes, I've done episodes on this, the how is not your responsibility. But in some ways, it is our responsibility to move us forward, but not to obsess on the how. So just for example, I just want to say this little thing here. If I'm looking to sell my book and I want it to sell a certain amount of copies, how all of those copies are going to be sold, I have to pass that over to the universe. That's the highest good of all. That is, I trust it gets out there. But within my own physical experience, I do everything I can to make sure I'm a success, or the book is a success, or the process is a success. I am exhausting my resources. I'm reaching out to people. I'm sending copies of my book out. I'm getting on podcasts to talk. Like, I am doing everything I can. And then I trust that it will be sent out to the right people. And this is when we just exhaust our resources. We do what we can. We put out everything we can logically and practically think of. And then it'll end up being one person on my email list has a publishing company or whatever. That might not even be what I mean. Has distribution, or they have a store they want to carry it in, or they start recommending it to their clients, or they have a media outlet connection. That's the stuff that I don't know all the hows, but it is my job to move myself forward. So in healing my pain journey and my relationship with self-love, I didn't know the key mentors that were going to come into my life and blow my mind and help me. I didn't know the books that I didn't know, right? But as I opened myself up to healing and to the fact that I could heal rather than I can't heal, that's when I was more open, and I would hear podcasts, or I'd be interviewing someone on my own on this show, asking them the questions. Like, if you listen to a year ago or a little bit more, I was talking a lot about healing chronic illness and healing pain. And I was soaking it up because I was opening up to that. I couldn't have planned those beautiful guests to come on the show, or the people that I was going to work with and be students of, or whatever, the programs I was going to take. I didn't know all that, but I was open. I was juicing. I was doing medical medium stuff. I was trying more protein, less protein, I was trying all the things, and in the energy of healing and belief, and then soaking up all of those people and things that came my way. So let's funnel back. I want you to have the confidence in your life that you are creating what you desire. And that confidence comes through taking action, learning how to show up for yourself, learning how to trust in yourself, learning how to create plans, even if it's like a loose, feely, hippie plan like mine, or if it's like a structured Monday, Wednesday, Friday plan. It's your success plan. It's your self-nurturing plan. It's the plan to move you forward. So whether yours is setting timers and maybe having a bestie you're doing it with, or you join the challenge, or you have a mentor, whatever your plan is, it's meant for you, to support you. But you do need some structure, some backbone, some container to it. And I want you to think of, someone said this to me recently, that achieving something or manifesting or creation is like a glass of water. Like, inside is all the flow and all the water and all the yumminess and the actual substance, but it's contained by a glass. And without the glass, it just spills out all over the place. without the structure, without the steps, all of our energy and everything we're learning, it just kind of gets fluffed all over the place or leaks out, or it's not quite tight. It doesn't have a method. It doesn't have a system. Could you imagine a lawyer going to school and they're like, well, just learn all this stuff. You'd be like, what? It's like, yeah, here's all the stuff you have to learn. Just kind of learn it however you want. There would have to be accounting, even being a yoga teacher or learning how to teach breath work. Like there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And you have to move through the process. The thing to know is there's not just one process for you to move through, but you need to keep moving forward. Take action in the direction of your dreams. So those questions to ask yourself. Number one, if I was 2 feet in, devoted to my dreams, success is the only option. I am moving myself through this. What would you do? And this sounds really weird and morbid. I'm going to go weird for a second. I've said to my clients before, like, imagine if every time you didn't succeed, something awful happened, like a dolphin died or something. Oh God, I'm sorry. Imagine like those times when, people say like, oh, I'm not a morning person. It's like, okay, but if for some reason someone in your family was going to be harmed if you didn't wake up at 5 a.m. every day for the next year, you'd almost be like, oh, okay, I can do that. And you know how quickly you would become a morning person because it's so important to you? Look at your success like that. And if that's how you viewed your success, what would you be doing differently? And what steps would you take? And how would you stay in the light and stay in the game? Just start riffing, just start thinking of things that you would do to keep yourself accountable, to keep yourself on track, because failure is not an option, because it's not. If you're here, you're next level. And no matter what you feel about yourself or what you feel you're capable of, you are meant for massive transformation in your life and massive manifestations, or you would not be here. I don't waste my breath for people that are not ready. And that kind of sounded weird. But if you're ready, this is for you. So that's the first thing to ask yourself. And then I also want you to get really present to the impact. What happens if I don't do this? Meaning create the freedom. Get to a place at some point in your life of financial abundance or self-love. Like, what is the impact if you never do this? What happens if you don't do this? That is not an option. It's like life is not a cruel trick and you don't get to have what you want. You do get to have that desire you have in your mind. And I want you to get really present to that. Is it worth not doing it? No. And no matter how scary it seems, it's not as scary as staying stuck. And sometimes I got to think, like, what if another year goes by that I don't achieve this or even move in that direction? Another year of pain. Another year of pain getting worse. That was like a year and a half ago. It's like, I can't. There are no other options. So dig deep, find that in yourself, cause your own success, and watch how that energy makes you absolutely magnetic. So I want you to think about that. If I was 2 feet in, committed, devoted daily, what would that look like? What does that look like? And then what is the impact of me not doing this? What would that be like? The potential impact you could have on other people's lives. The way that you doing the thing and creating the life you want inspires your friends, your family, other women around you, people in your life. Is it worth not doing it? No, it's not. It is not. So I know this was kind of a lot, an aggressive pep talk today, but manifestation requires devotion. It requires commitment, and you get to start to choose what steps you take. And there are no right or wrong steps. There are no, gold stars for this step and no gold stars for that step. Just start trying things. Just start listening more, learning more, reading more. Get yourself in the room with people that have the energy that you want. Learn from people who have done it in any way you can. Podcasts are free, books are fairly cheap, especially secondhand stores, or if you have the abundance to, there is nothing more valuable than an investment in yourself. The return on your investment when it comes to self-development, accountability, whether it's a personal trainer, or it's a coach, or it's the challenge, it is so worth it. That's what I think when I invest in myself. This isn't just money I'm spending that goes nowhere. There is a return. And that return is accountability, is commitment. A personal trainer gets you to the gym. That's part of what you're paying for. The moves that they give you and the accountability. So where can you get in the game? Where can you get committed and devoted? If you can, invest in yourself. If you can't, or it's not the right time right now, or nothing has come up that sparks you, read, listen, immerse, learn, stay inspired, try things, move yourself forward. The energy of 2024 is, if you choose it, it's ready for you. It's like if you stick out your thumb and hitchhike, the ride is waiting to pick you up, but you have to be the one to walk yourself there. You have to be the one to say, I'm ready. Line has been drawn. That is it. I am worth it. There's no other option. My success is inevitable. And then nurturing that being and those feelings and those intentions and those desires and your intuition, along with practical, tangible steps. And if you're asking right now, okay, how do I do that? What do I do? Join the challenge. Because it is different for everyone, but this challenge is built for my people, for you listening, to get into energetic alignment, into physical alignment with what you want, your portal, your power, the accountability, the community, the step-by-step, 20 minutes a day or less. You will move forward in January. So if that strikes you, if you're like, yes, join us in that. I cannot wait to start the first 31 days with my people, with you. I'm so excited. You're going to get to learn how seriously weird I am over voice memo. So excited for that. Anyway, love, I hope this has served you. Get your skin in the game. Continue moving forward. You are worth it. You are growing. You are learning. You are becoming that person. Confidence comes through action. You fucking got this. I love you so much. I'll see you soon. Hey, thank you for listening to this episode. It truly means a lot, and I really, really hope that it served you. I invite you to check out the show notes. There's all sorts of action down there, including the Awakening Her daily practice, which is a beautiful daily practice to process your emotions and manifest what it is that you want. In the show notes, you'll also find the Awakening Her Manifesting Apparel store, how to reach me on Instagram and Facebook, as well as some one-to-one opportunities. So make sure to check that out, and I'll see you in the next episode.